start on our Sunday lunch. And I don't normally have very much luck with bread, but I have one recipe. It's the Deborah Collins Easy White Bread, and I'm going to start making that. I always have good luck with this, not necessarily the loaves, but for rolls. So the first thing we need to do is put 1 1/4 cup of warm water into a bowl. Add to it 5 tablespoons of yeast. This is instant yeast. You don't really need to proof it, but it's been in the refrigerator a while, so I just want to make sure it's still good. To that, I'm going to add sugar. This is 3 tablespoons of sugar. We'll give it a little mix. We'll just let it sit for a minute. While I'm making sure this yeast is still good, I'll go ahead and tell you what's in here. This is 3 1/2 cups, actually it's just 3 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour. That's what we'll start with, and we'll add flour to it if we need it. Might not need it. It's humid today, so chances are you probably will. All right, that's mixed, and it already looks a little bubbly, so I have a feeling it's okay. Now, for this, I always have to look at my recipe. This one is not in my head. Going to put in salt. I have 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt and 1/4 cup of melted butter. I'm not sure the butter is melted. I'm just going to mix in the salt. So let's check on the butter. It is melted. Let's just give this a few more minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, our yeast is nice and bubbly. So what we need to do now, before I tell you about that, on your water, one thing you never want to do is use water that's too hot. If it's too hot, you will kill your yeast. This water was around 110, I wouldn't go over 115, definitely. So there's that. I'm going to put the butter into our flour, mainly because I don't know how hot it is and I don't want it to kill the yeast. So that will cool it off just a little bit if it is too hot. Into the bowl you go, yeast. This smells so good. It already smells like bread. Can you see? Scrape it out because it was foaming. All right, and then we just want to mix this together with a spoon. This recipe has always been very forgiving for me. It's not been a hard one to make work. I use this also to make cinnamon rolls. I have made loaves with it. My family likes it. I don't. I guess I'm too used to store-bought bread. To me, it's wetter than store-bought bread. And for this, you just stir and stir and stir till you can't anymore. And then you turn it out onto the counter and you knead it and add flour if you need to. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to add another 1/4 cup of water. Okay. I wonder it was too dry. Okay. Much better. Mix, mix, mix. Just going to lightly flour the counter. Dump this out. It is amazing what 1/4 cup of water will do to a little bit of flour and yeast. come out. And watch, just my luck. Because I said I have luck with this recipe. It just may not turn out. Oh well, if it doesn't, we'll try again. And for this, it's super sticky. So you just add flour a little at a time. Knead as you go. Eventually it'll come together just fine. Hopefully. Alrighty, I think we're there. This does not take much kneading before it's ready. I didn't even add a whole half cup of flour to it. And already it's nice and doughy and soft. And for this recipe, it's so simple. You don't even let it rise for an hour. It's got so much yeast in it, it just does its thing very quickly. All you do is just leave it on the counter, turn a bowl over it. I have a vent blowing here, so it might take more than 5 minutes, but the recipe says just to let it sit for 5 minutes right here. And that's it, until you're ready to form it and put it into the pan. So, bowl over. I love this bowl. This is a bowl my mom gave me. I remember as a child being with her in the kitchen. Every time she needed to mix something, she pulled out the white bowl. And a couple of years ago, she was going through some of her things and asking us children to let her know what we wanted. And this is the one thing I requested because it's special memories in the kitchen with my mom. So every time I pull it out, I think of her. She's still with us for now, praise the Lord. Don't know how much longer she'll be with us. We never know when we will take our last breath. So I love each and every day that I have with her, and I love each and every time I pull this bowl out. I hope you have special memories in your kitchen. We'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, guys. The dough only has just a minute. Actually, it's probably already time, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and get my ham on. I'm going to cook it tonight, and that way all I'll have to do tomorrow is just, I'll keep it on the setting that says keep warm on the crock pot. So when we get home from church, it'll be nice and warm. Our rolls will already be done. And I'm also going to put eggs into the pan to boil because I will be making deviled eggs and pea salad. So obviously I need eggs for those. So let me wash my hands, and I'm going to add vegetable broth to the ham to cook in. I'm not really going to add much seasoning because you don't really want to take away from the flavor of the meat. I might add just a little bit of salt, not much because the broth already has a lot of salt in it, and maybe a little pepper, maybe just a little bit of garlic, and that will be it. I'll be right back. Let's do this quickly. A little bit of salt. That was 1/4 teaspoon. Not quite another quarter, so almost a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Not measuring. Measuring's not always my thing. Just a sprinkle. Garlic powder. Same thing with the pepper. I opened the wrong side of this pepper one day and dumped it all into something I was cooking. So I'm always paranoid when I open it now. Alright. Vegetable broth. There we go. Before I got all this done, I cleaned up everything for the bread except for the mess on the counter. We'll get that done after we get done shaping the rolls. I'm going to just about cover the ham, not all the way. I had never thought of doing ham in a crock pot. At our old church, it was so full of such amazing cooks, and I learned this trick from them. If they didn't put their ham in the oven, they put it in the crock pot and let it go all night long. Oh my goodness, y'all. It is so good like this. If you've never thought of it, you might want to try it. So this is done. All I need to do now is to sit it into the crock pot and let it go. I'll be right back. And I have our eggs. I'm cooking extra. Oh, you know what? I need to get more out for the pea salad. I was about to say I'm cooking extra so that we will have leftovers. That way we can have a light supper tomorrow night. Let me grab a couple more for the pea salad. One, I can't remember if it's one or two. More never hurts. Okay, I'll put water in this and we're ready to go, and I'll be back to uncover the bread. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Whoa. Yeah, I think it's ready to be divided. Let me get my scraper. I can't remember what it was called. We always put it in a different place. I can never remember what drawer we stuck it in. Here we go. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think that's the one we want. I think that one's been in there a little too long. Oh, fiddlesticks, guys. I don't know where it's at. Give me just a minute. All right. I got it all washed up. I don't know where my other one was. First thing I'm going to do is divide it as best I can in half. Half again. I'm going to try to get 15 rolls. There's 4. 8. Go again. Ooh, did not mean to do that. This is not exact science, you guys. It'll be okay. I have a friend. No matter what happens, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. God bless her heart. I love her to death. It's okay. It'll be all right. I'm trying my best to be more like that. It'll be okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know some of you are going, ah, what is she doing? I'm doing what Janet does best. I'm just doing it. Okay. 1, and I've already sprayed my 9 by 13 baking dish. 2. So we'll just continue rolling these and putting them in the pan. I'm going to leave space because they will rise back up very quickly. I'll be right back. Okay, we're down to our last 2. They're not perfect, guys. I'm not making perfect little beautiful rolls. Isn't the thing rustic these days? Farmhousey. That's what we're doing. And I have done this recipe enough to know that we always end up with little ones because of the way I cut them. I could measure the dough out and be precise. Nah. Some big, some small. It's quite all right. Now, we'll just let these go for just a few minutes, about 20 minutes, let them rise. And after that time, we'll pop them in the oven. So I'll go get that preheated now. Okay, guys. Decided since we have just a minute before we have to get the bread in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the pea salad. I can't finish it because it takes the eggs that are boiling. So I'm just going to chop up the onion. I already have my peas drained. We're using the silver can peas. Nothing added to them, just plain peas. And I don't have a measurement for pecans, but we're going to put pecans in ours. And shredded cheddar cheese. So all I need to do is just chop up this onion, and then I'll chop up the pecans. We'll be right back. Okay. We're not done with the pea salad, of course, but the timer just went off for our rolls. They're fluffy, but I think I'm going to give them just a couple more minutes. Chop up the pecans. I don't have a recipe as far as measurements. I'm just having to eyeball it. I've never made this recipe. My husband lost his sister last November, and she had lost her mate for many, many years, a couple years before. His name was Gene, but on holidays when we would go there, he would make this pea salad, and my husband loved it. I've never made it before. I decided I was going to be brave and try it. I hope I do it justice. Alright, there we go. I'm not doing these in teeny tiny pieces. I bought chopped pecans, but they're still in big chunks. I just chopped them a little bit smaller. We may need more. We might not need all of these, but I'm going to wait until we start putting it all together and get all the eggs into it before I decide if I need more or less. So for now, I'll just dump the peas in. Not heated or anything, just regular room temperature peas. That would be 3 cans with the silver label. Add in the chopped onion. And then we'll add in shredded cheese. If you look online, if you would like to try this recipe, there are recipes with specific measurements. As you know, that's just not my style. We also need 2/3 cup of not ketchup, 2/3 cup of mayonnaise. We may need more cheese, I don't know. Recipe calls for 2/3 cup, but my goodness, if that doesn't seem like a lot to me. But for once, I'm going to trust them. In you go. And remember, we still have eggs to add to it. I don't think those things are ever going to boil. And that's it for now. Let's see if our rolls are ready. I think that's good enough, guys. What do you think? Into the oven we go. We'll be right back. Our eggs are done. I'm just going to drain them off, and then I'm going to put them in this water. I've been letting it sit for just a few minutes with ice in it. I like to do that to stop the cooking immediately. Into the water. Once I get these in here, oh, they're still hot. We will let them sit for at least 5 minutes. To me, it makes it easier to peel. There we go. Now, all that's left to do is to let them do their thing in the water. Chop up 2 or 3. 3. Thanks, Carol Lady. Chop up 3, put them in there. The rest will be made into deviled eggs for tomorrow's lunch. Now, I've still got to work on today's supper. So I'm going to refill this with water and get my rice going. The etouffee is already on the stove. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's from Darwin's in Mississippi. And my husband brought it home. So I'm just reheating it. A little bit. Here are our rolls. They're normally thicker and fluffier. I think that's good enough. We will reheat these tomorrow. So, we're almost there. We're so close. My camera lady says, thank goodness, she's tired of recording. All right, my eggs are cool. I have the rolls off cooling. I took them out of the pan. Before I did, though, I rubbed them down with just a little bit of butter. You know, a little butter makes everything better. So now I'm just going to peel our eggs and chop them up and put them into the bowl with our pea salad. We'll be right back.
Go.
All right, chop, chop, chop. The eggs are peeled. And we're just going to chop them. Don't normally do them on the board. I don't know why I'm doing it now. Don't like doing it on the board. To the bowl. This is how I normally do it, is in my hand. Here we go. Over and slivers again, and then dices. That, my friends, is how my mama taught me to chop eggs. One, two, three. Turn it over. 1, 2. Chop, 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 chop. Ta-da! Wipe. And a little stir. Stir gently because these peas are canned. They're not frozen peas. I almost forgot myself. Frozen peas you don't have to be as careful with, but you don't want to have pea mush salad. Having said that, if you prefer frozen peas, that is perfectly fine. Most recipes are written for frozen peas, but this is the way my husband has always had it, so that's the way I wanted to do it for him. They say, way to a man's heart is through his tummy. Now, we are ready to do our eggs. Now this is the craziest thing. There's not an even number of things to hold the eggs. Oh man, I guess I'll have to eat one. So, now we have have all the yolks here. And we need to add mayonnaise. We'll start with a little. We can always add more, but you can't take it out once it's in. I add just a touch of mustard. Now, this is my little secret. Pickle juice, just a little. A couple of little splashes. And it's no good if you do not add your salt. Just till the voices of your ancestors say, that's enough, child. A little pepper. Ta-da! Now, you just take a fork, mash up the yolks, and mix in the mayo and all the good stuff till it looks like you want it to look. Some people like theirs dry. I do not like mine dry. Some people will actually make extra eggs, and they will put in extra yolks to make their eggs nice and full when they're done. I don't do that, not usually. If something weird happens, I just happen to have an extra yolk. Just keep smashing and mixing. It's all worked in together. Sorry, the bowl's walking. I'm going to add just a little bit more mayonnaise. It's still too dry for me. Not worried about these looking super perfect. They're just for my immediate family. Another good reason to make extras in case you just have that rogue egg that does not want to peel and you end up tearing it and making it look all messy. If you have extra on hand, not only do you have extra yolks to make your eggs nice and full, but you've got extra egg halves. All right, now let's fill. In we go. This is just for family. I don't mind using my finger. If you're taking them somewhere, feel free to use a spoon to fill so you're not sticking your fingers in it. But here in the South, sometimes it just doesn't taste right if you don't use your fingers. And my friends, all we have left to do is to get up in the morning, put the baby limas on the stove to cook, and get ready for church, come home, eat, and take a nap. I hope you've enjoyed your visit with us today. Before we're completely done, I'll show you the complete meal put together, but for tonight, we're done. Okay, here you go, guys. There's our pea salad, baby limas, our deviled eggs and rolls, and ham. Hope you have a blessed Sunday. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Thanks for joining us.